This program has been brought to you by Alpine Bank. Dedication you can count on and experience you can trust. Alpine Bank, member FDIC.
You're watching Durango TV News. I'm Deborah Uroda, sitting in for Wendy Graham-Settle, who's on vacation this week.
See them tumbling down, pledging their love to the ground.
The formula hasn't changed much over years. Serve up a chuckwagon supper of barbecued meat with beans and potatoes on a tin plate, then entertain your audience with an hour-long medley of old-fashioned cowboy and western songs. Now forget the numbers about drinking beer, pickup trucks, or unfaithful spouses. That's not the cowboy way, and it's why the Bar D Wranglers are celebrating their 50th summer season of serving up food and song that celebrate and preserve the heritage of the Old West. Cy Scarborough and his partner Buck Teeter had been performers at the Flying W Chuckwagon in Colorado Springs when they decided to start their own Chuckwagon supper to run things the way they wanted. They chose Durango because of its ability to draw tourists to the area with its hotels, the train, and Mesa Verde. The Bar D opened the summer of '69 with one gift chopped and a tent-covered chuckwagon that could seat as many as 700 people at a time. 2 years later, they added a half-mile of narrow-gauge train track and a small train.
The train started early because Durango was noted for a train. So the train started in 1971. And the other things have just been a little bit at a time, one or two things at a time, like a building, and then the next year another building, or one of the paved walkways. So just a little by little by little by little.
The Bar D Chuckwagon is more than a dinner and a show. It's an experience. Folks arrive early to get their tickets and to enjoy the little western town that the Wranglers have created over the years. You can explore the chapel in Boot Hill, pan for gold, or shoot a single-action pistol, shop for chocolate, western regalia, or just enjoy a soda pop or ice cream cone. Call to dinners at 7:30 nightly from Memorial Day through Labor Day. The menu never changes: barbecue beef or chicken, steak, chuckwagon beans, potatoes, homemade applesauce and spice cake, and of course biscuits. The show follows. Only 15 musicians have called themselves a Bar D Wrangler during the 50 years the Chuckwagon has been in business. Host Gary Cook is a two-time national flat-pick champion guitar player and has been with the group for 30 years. Rounding out the quartet are Matt Palmer on fiddle, Richard Espinosa, lead singer on rhythm guitar, and comedian Joel Ratcheff on bass. The repertoire ranges from old Matt Palmer's farm with its lisping snakes and narcoleptic sheep to a tear-jerking rendition of They Call the Wind Mariah from Paint Your Wagon. Scarborough, now 91, retired a few years ago, but he still makes an appearance at the end of the show to tell a joke or two and to join the Wranglers in their final song of the night, the patriotic anthem, Proud to Be an American. The Wranglers play every night from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Only the Missionary Ridge Fire in 2002 was able to shut down the house.
We were evacuated, of course, and we were in a campground and saw on the news, Albuquerque news, that the popular place called the Bar D Chuckwagon supper had burned. So had to live with that the rest of the night. But then the next morning it came up here early in the morning, and lo and behold, here it was. Firefighters saved us. They foamed the trees. Of course, Gary Cook and I had a sprinkler set on the tarp for a couple of days, and that helped, of course. But they foamed the tarp and foamed the trees, and if a tree got on fire, the buildings would have got on fire. So the fire department saved us.
Scarborough estimates that 2.5 million people have seen the show. If you're relatively new to the Durango area, a trip to the Bar D is a trip back into the region's past in a bygone era when life and music were simpler. And if you're a longtime resident of the Durango area, it's well worth the effort to remind yourself why you live here.
Boy, it seems like we started just, a few months ago, and now it's been 50 years. It's just been a great run, great run.
If you'd like to know more, visit the website at bardchuckwagon.com.